Most people think rich people are easy to spot. They're wrong. Some of the richest people on earth look completely ordinary. Meanwhile, some people who look rich are secretly drowning in debt. And that's because there isn't one type of rich person. There are 8. Let's start with the first one, the inherited rich, or what most people call old money. These are people who were born into wealth. But here's what makes them different. Their biggest advantage usually isn't the money, it's the head start. Imagine 2 people running a race. One starts at the starting line, the other starts halfway down the track. That's what inherited wealth can feel like. Think about Paris Hilton. Most people know her as a celebrity, but long before the fame, she was connected to the Hilton hotel empire. Or think about the Rockefeller family. Generations after the original fortune was built, the name still carries influence. The strange thing about inherited wealth isn't that money gets passed down. It's that opportunities get passed down too. Connections, knowledge, access. The kind of advantages money can't easily buy later. But here's the twist. A shocking number of family fortunes disappear within a few generations. Think about that. How do you lose money you didn't even have to earn? And if that's possible, the next type starts making a lot more sense. The flashy rich. You've seen them. Luxury cars, designer clothes, private jets all over social media. Everything looks expensive. Now, don't get me wrong. Some flashy people are genuinely wealthy. Very wealthy. But here's where things get weird. 2 people can look exactly the same from the outside. One is worth $10 million. The other owes $10 million. And you'd never know. A Lamborghini can be financed. A watch can be borrowed. A mansion can be drowning in debt. The human brain is terrible at spotting actual wealth. We don't see wealth. We see spending. And spending is easy to fake. Which is why the next type spends less time showing wealth and more time creating it. The builder rich. These are entrepreneurs, founders, business owners, people who build things. Think about Elon Musk. Before Tesla became one of the most valuable car companies in the world, most people thought electric cars were a joke. Or Jeff Bezos. Amazon started as an online bookstore operating out of a garage. Today, it's one of the biggest companies on earth. Most people only see the success. They don't see the years when failure seemed more likely than success. The late nights, the risks, the moments when quitting would have been easier. And here's something most people miss. Builders often don't look rich while they're building, because every dollar goes back into the machine, back into growth, back into the business. And that creates a completely different type of wealthy person, the asset rich. This type confuses almost everyone. Imagine someone worth $20 million. Now imagine they hesitate before buying a new car. Sounds ridiculous. Until you realize most of their wealth isn't sitting in a bank account. It's trapped inside assets, land, businesses, properties, stocks. Imagine buying land decades ago for $50,000. Then a city expands around it. Suddenly, that land is worth $5 million. You didn't become rich overnight. The world simply caught up to what you already owned. Some farmers accidentally became millionaires this exact way. On paper, they're incredibly wealthy. But unless they sell, the money isn't sitting in their wallet. Some people own everything, but spend almost nothing. And if that sounds strange, wait until you meet the people who got rich through pure timing. The lottery rich. These are people who got lucky, painfully lucky. The person who bought Bitcoin when nobody cared. The person who bought land before everyone else realized its value. The person who picked the winning lottery numbers. Most people hate talking about luck because we'd rather believe success is always earned, but reality is messier than that. Sometimes timing beats talent, sometimes being early beats being smart. In 2010, a man spent 10,000 Bitcoin on 2 pizzas. At the time, it seemed completely normal. Today, those same coins would be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. That's not a typo, hundreds of millions. But here's the problem. Getting rich and staying rich are completely different games. Many lottery winners lose everything, not because they're stupid, because sudden wealth changes everything around them. Friends change, family changes, expectations change. Money arrives faster than experience, and that's where things start getting dangerous. Because the next type gets rich from something even stranger. Attention, the fame rich. Athletes, musicians, actors, influencers. People whose names became businesses. Think about Cristiano Ronaldo. One social media post from him can reach more people than entire television networks. Or Taylor Swift. A single tour generated billions of dollars for local economies. Or Mr. Beast. A guy who turned YouTube videos into a business empire. That's the power of attention. A normal person launches a product. A few people see it. A famous person launches a product. Millions see it overnight. It's almost a cheat code. But attention comes with a catch. It's rented, not owned. The crowd that loves you today can ignore you tomorrow, which is why some celebrities become richer after fame, while others somehow go broke despite earning millions. And that brings us to one of the most powerful types of rich people, the connected rich. These people aren't always the wealthiest, but they know everyone. One phone call, one introduction, one conversation, and opportunities appear. Imagine two people. One has $10 million. The other can get a meeting with almost anyone they want. Which one is more powerful? That's harder to answer than it seems. Throughout history, some of the most influential people weren't kings. They weren't celebrities. They weren't even household names. They were the advisors, the deal makers, the people quietly standing beside the people in charge, because money buys things, but connections open doors. And yet, even after all these different types of rich people, we're still missing the strangest one. The type almost nobody notices, the invisible millionaire. This is the type that changes how you see wealth forever. Imagine meeting someone at a grocery store. Normal clothes, normal shoes, normal car, nothing special. You'd probably forget them 5 minutes later. But what if I told you that person might be worth $5 million? Or 10 million? Or more? One study of millionaires found something surprising. Many lived in average neighborhoods, drove average cars, and spent far less than people expected. Meanwhile, some of the people trying hardest to look rich weren't wealthy at all. Think about how backwards that is. The people pretending to be rich are easy to notice. The people who are actually rich often aren't. And here's the twist that changes everything. The invisible millionaire doesn't avoid luxury because they hate luxury. They avoid it because they understand something most people never do. Every dollar spent trying to look rich is a dollar that can no longer make you rich. That's a painful truth, but it's a truth nonetheless. And once you see it, you start noticing it everywhere. The expensive watch, the designer clothes, the flashy car. Sometimes they're signs of wealth. Sometimes they're signs of the desire to appear wealthy. Those are not the same thing. And that's when you realize this video was never really about money. It was about people. The inherited rich inherit advantages. The flashy rich display success. The builder rich create value. The asset rich own things. The lottery rich ride luck. The fame rich monetize attention. The connected rich open doors. But the invisible millionaire understands something all the others eventually discover. Real wealth is usually the part nobody sees. Which means if all 8 types walked into a room right now, most people would immediately notice the wrong person. And the wealthiest person there might be the one quietly standing in the corner, looking completely ordinary. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to Adam Wealth. Because the deeper you look at money, human behavior, and history, the stranger it all becomes.